to another episode of Podcast Assemble, the show where you come for your rambling geeky download. My name's Tommy and I'm delighted, as always, to be joined by my friend and co-host from across the pond. It's our resident, returning out of touch award adjudicator of the pod, DL. How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm in an ivory tower. I'm making decisions.
But you're out of touch, so the decisions are all wrong.
That's why it's an ivory tower.
Okay, all right.
The people don't get a choice. They came here to hear about what I think.
Yes.
And
well, I mean, if you didn't want to be part of the conversation,
I'm going to tell them, no, you don't even get to talk.
I'll sit here mute for the whole episode.
Yeah, exactly. This is a monologue.
I'd love it if some people thought that we were the same person, just doing different accents, and they were just like, yeah, he's just going to not do the Tommy accent this week.
That would be impressive.
That'd be an impressive conversation.
What if that was the spoiler alert? What happened? And I talk over you too much for that to be real.
No, but like you could edit it that way, couldn't you? You could have like the two concurrently running.
Theoretically.
Yeah. If you were doing it yourself.
Conspiracies.
DL. Conspiracies of the pod.
Conspiracy theories begin.
Fantastic. Yeah. How are you, mate? What's been happening?
Oh, dude, a lot, man. A lot. We've been busy this week, haven't we?
We've been busy putting awards together for this episode.
Putting lots of awards together. It's award season.
It's award season, guys. Polite applause. Thank you. Yes. Well done. Polite applause.
I actually don't know if it's award season.
No, I don't think
it's actually not award season.
When is the Oscars?
It's award season for us, though.
For us, it is. No, it's the end of year award.
We do what we want.
We do what we want.
Yes, we do what we want. It's actually the holiday season, but
it's the holiday season also. We would usually actually do this after Christmas. I quite like doing it before Christmas.
But I mean, like, who wants to be like known by all the other awards? Like, this is actually the perfect time to do awards because people aren't expecting them, and we are going to give you them.
Well, we're going to have to loop in Rebel Moon. Is that the right one? What's the new Zack Snyder one?
Yeah, Rebel Moon.
That's next year. That's
Star Wars.
Star Moons.
Yeah.
That'll be in the next year's awards, guys. Just in case you were worried. But yeah, today we're doing an awards episode, so I'm excited for that. But we have been doing a lot.
Yeah, we've been eating
together,
eating many dinners.
I don't like seeing you outside of the podcast. So doing this many things,
you had a bad week. You had a terrible week and expensive.
Yeah, very fucking expensive
for that matter.
Well, we had a couple of dinners together, a couple of Christmas dinners.
Yeah, a couple of Chrissy dinners. It was
different groups of friends. I like that. We can skip between.
Well, partners.
Actually, yeah, we did a partners one. I better remember who we did the first one with. She's my mate. She's all right. We're housemates.
Friends and lovers.
We're just housemates.
Yeah.
Occasionally hook up.
And then we had a good little steaky dinner.
Oh my God.
We literally ordered the entire menu last night.
The guy was a real seller.
Yeah, he was.
You could tell we were hungry and was just like, you should definitely try this one.
Yeah, he did well, except we paid so much that we couldn't tip him. So sorry, mate.
Let's have this conversation. Let's have this conversation up top.
Okay.
Tipping in Sydney. Thoughts?
I mean, I am so used to tipping that it's like a natural thing. It feels wrong to not. But then Gil always reminds me how much they're paid. And I'm like, okay, like I get it. You don't really need to. But it does. There's something about it that goes against my DNA. But
being
I understand.
An American, of course.
I understand. Yeah.
See, being a Brit, it's way against my cultural heritage. In fact, paying the right amount is against. we tend to steal things and put them in museums before paying for them. I just I understand in the States, I get the point of it over there. You know, like people aren't paid properly. Yeah. So, of course, it's like anything. We're talking about the writer strike and the actor strike over the last few weeks. Those guys need to be paid properly. I would tip the writers if I could. But like workers who work in restaurants or hotels, that's why you tip. But in Sydney, when they're paid like significant amounts of money, you're like, guys,
what is it? Like minimum 18 an hour or something?
It's good.
Yeah.
And it's gone up recently as well.
Yeah.
And when it's as expensive as that dinner was, this is such a first world problem, by the way. But like that was an expensive dinner. It wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
You're a bit like, am I really going to tip you for this as well?
I would have rather just had another kangaroo tartare, frankly.
Give me that kangaroo tartare.
Yeah, I would have done that again instead of the tip. But we did leave.
It's been nice hanging out with you. I feel like we haven't done as much of that this year. We haven't had that as much opportunity outside of the podding.
We haven't.
You're just a busy boy.
Well, I also traveled for literally 2 months.
Yeah, you were away.
I don't know how I got away with that.
No, neither.
Literally every podcast I was in another country.
I feel like we've done more podcasts with you either in a different country or on jet lag time.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal year.
It's been a great year for you.
It was a phenomenal year. We did it.
Oh, part of the reason we're doing the awards this early is because I'm going away next Friday.
Sure.
So I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'll be pieced out. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm on a beach.
Oh, you're on a beach.
Reading quietly.
Yeah, to yourself.
And enjoying the sun.
Yes, of course.
You will be, I don't know, where are you going home? Are you going to London?
I will be, I'll be up north. I'll be with Jon Snow at Wall.
Well, ask him what's going on with
what the hell?
With that new movie. Wasn't he supposed to be in a Marvel movie? Is he just not in it anymore?
Oh, yeah, he was.
Has he been cut?
Wait, that wasn't this year. That was last year. We couldn't bring up the Eternals for this year. I'm sure that will He'll come back. He'll come back, but the rest of the Eternals won't, surely.
I actually liked him. I
thought he was great
in that character, in that movie. Anyway.
He's great in it.
What have you been up to other than eating with me?
I do have one thing I thought I'd call out. I was on a podcast this week, finally come out. My quality is terrible, and I'm really upset about that. But the quality of the conversation is fantastic. Guys, please, if you like listening to me talk, which I don't know why you would, go and check out Podcasting for Humans. Such a righteous pod. Richard's amazing. It talks to real podcasters about real problems, and I talk a little bit about defining success for ourselves, which we never did.
So it's a good thing that we don't follow our own advice.
Yeah, it's a bit like being on like a psychotherapist's chair. Like you're just talking about these challenges, and he has helped smaller podcasts launch and things like that.
Nice.
And we go into the depths. I don't know if I've ever talked about my old man on this podcast, but we go into the fact that the things you're supposed to do when you're starting a podcast, for example, connecting with other podcasts and, things you're doing like bringing rigs on the pod and having friends of the show and going on their podcast.
Yeah, we love some rigs.
We didn't get to do that because most of my emotional state was used up with my old man being unwell when we started the podcast, and it was more for us to catch up than anything. Yeah. Whereas now we're like, fuck, we're 130 episodes in. Maybe we should
do some professional
maybe we should do some of that stuff.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, it's a great conversation. Richard's fantastic, like I mentioned. Go and check him out, guys. Search for Podcasting for Humans. I think you'll really enjoy it. But guys, before we get into it, there will be time codes in the description. Feel free to jump around. There's not much to jump around to in this episode, to be honest, because we're going to hit up those awards pretty quickly after we've talked about what we've been up to. But they'll be there, as always, supplied by friend of the show and editing master, Mr. Matthew Bliss. Stick around. We'll give you his details at the end of the show. Quick question, DL, before we do start talking about things you've been doing. If you were going to give this podcast a star rating, for example, if you could just do it on your podcast capture of choice, like it was right in front of you, what would you give it?
5.
5 stars?
I didn't tell you how much out of 5 out of, but most of them are 5, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5, yeah. 5 out of 5. So you can do it in Spotify, you can do it in Apple. They're all there. It's all right in the palm of your hand. It would really help us. You guys get algorithms. We don't need to tell you about that. DL.
Yeah, dude.
What have you been up to, buddy?
I have been watching the last season of Archer that's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Is that also the last season?
The last season has been coming out, so...
I mean, maybe it's not the last season. It's the latest one on Netflix. Season
Australia is a bit behind.
13, I think. It's the first one without the mother.
Oh, all right.
Because didn't she die?
Yeah, she passed away.
Yeah, sorry. Sad to say. But
I will. You sorry? Did you do it?
No,
you finished her off.
I kind of handled that like, did she die? Like very callously. It's pretty good. It's you miss her for sure.
Yeah, the voice
you miss her as a character.
Season 14 is the final season of Archer, apparently, and I think it's already out in the States.
Probably is because it always is delayed on Netflix. But I do miss her as a character. She adds an element. But it's been fun. It's been good. I've laughed. I've had fun with it.
Actually came out in August this year, so it must be out in the States. So is it back to the old, monster of the week?
Kind of. There is an ongoing story that basically they have been bought by this like mega spy agency that's almost like this corporate ties environment where they're always cutting expenses and they're like, there's leadership exercises.
I like that.
Yeah. And then like Archer hates the main guy, of course. And it's pretty good.
Question for you. Is Barry still in it?
Barry has not been in this season.
Thank God.
You don't like Barry?
He was great when he was like the guy who was better than Archer, but Archer always managed to screw him over somehow.
Yes.
He was like, that character was insane. And when he became a cyborg, I was like, what is this?
There was cyborg moments where he was good, but there was like, it lasted far too long.
Yes.
I agree with you.
I quite enjoyed the bit where I ended up hooking up with Archer's then wife.
Yeah.
That was
like,
great.
And she was also a cyborg. Yeah.
Because they understood each other.
And it's like her vagina was like in the sink or something.
It was like vibrating.
Yeah.
Such a weird show. If anyone's not seen Archer, this would make no fucking sense.
I mean, yeah, it's great though.
Archer's been around a while. It's been around since like 2008 or something.
Yeah, it's old. Like 14 seasons, man.
I feel like there needs to be more adult animation in this vein, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like plenty. We just got to find it. Netflix has one called like Disenchanted or something. That's like
that was done by the guys.
Futurama-y.
That was done by the same guys as Futurama.
I was gonna say it looks like
Simpsons.
it. Yeah, it's like
Matt
5 seasons in or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it got cancelled ages ago. That's interesting.
Never know with Netflix.
Yes,
more on that later.
You'll find out about that later, guys. That's
what about
good.
you?
Would you recommend the 13th season of Archer?
So far,
a lot to get through.
So far, yeah. I mean, if you like the first few, you'll like this.
I think I fell off when he was in the coma ones.
The coma ones were honestly the first 8 are the best. There was one coma one that was really good. It was the space one, but it was super short. It was 6 episodes, but I loved it.
I really liked 1 to 5 seasons. Yeah. They were prime TV. I think I've watched them. The without going to the cancer episode. Phenomenal.
Cancer. What does he go?
Phenomenal.
Rampage. Cancer rampage.
So good. Yeah, except he's vomiting all the time.
Yeah, it's good.
But because don't the mob change out the cancer drugs, so he's taking fruit juice.
He's taking some bullshit. He just keeps or he never had cancer or something.
No, he did, and they changed out the drugs, and so the rampage was against the mob who'd been stealing the drugs.
Yes,
very fun. So you'd recommend the 13th season?
I would if you like Archer. Yeah, and if you don't start, you'll like it.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
How about you?
I watched this week with the partner. So we talked a couple of weeks ago about the David Beckham documentary, which was kind of interesting and very 90s, early 2000s.
I never finished it. Yeah.
Didn't you? Okay.
It's on the list though.
We
will.
We watched one which I think is quite similar, which is I Am Robbie Williams, which is a Robbie Williams documentary, similar vein. Yeah. I think it's only 4 episodes, and it sort of tracks him from when he's left Take That, doing his solo career, and then basically having a full mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Full mental breakdown. It's super interesting when you have watched the David Beckham one so recently before that. So Beckham is clearly a very strong, passionate individual. I feel like he had a good support system around him. So his soccer team, football team, his wife clearly was very loving. He had really good mentors in Alex Ferguson, the manager.
Yep.
Even when he moved abroad, he had good people around him. Whereas Robbie Williams just seems to have been this isolated figure.
So it's just this great juxtaposition.
Yeah, he had a couple of good people around him at times, but then, he fell out with them because he had this haywire brain that was always all over the place. He would fall in and out of love with people, never had a consistent relationship. It was really interesting watching the difference. And you look at David Beckham, both incredibly rich people, so I'm not crying for either of them.
Yeah.
David Beckham's life, so wholesome. What's he got, 5 kids, beautiful wife. She's super she's in fashion, has this fantastic, has her own thing going on.
Yeah.
And he's very well put together. He's still in good shape, clearly still top of his game. And you look at Robbie Williams, he did the whole documentary in his boxers and a vest, or as you would say, a singlet in Australia, lying in his bed. And you're fuck, he's been crippled by all this celebrity stuff. The juxtaposition of the two, watching them, if you watch one episode of one, then one episode of the other back to back, you'd be like, holy shit, these two are polar opposite ends of the spectrum of how they've dealt with this. Super interesting.
I mean, it is kind of more likely to have the latter, I think, to have fame. I would say that
I would crumble in minutes.
Yeah,
hypothetically, we get famous off this. We get Joe Rogan famous off this. Never going to happen. But just imagine for me, just pretend.
This is hard.
Just pretend.
This is hard for me.
I would crumble in seconds. I would have no idea what to do with myself. I would just be nope, I'm out. Sorry, guys.
I'd probably be canceled already.
Yes, you would be. Definitely. Just for your stories about going to the beach.
Inside joke. If only you could hear before the recording was on.
Would you watch a show about Robbie Williams?
Yeah, I would watch it. Yeah.
Do
you recommend?
I'd suggest so. If you've watched a bit of David Beckham on, you found it interesting. It's a similar view of the media in the UK.
Yeah.
But from a pop star's point of view. And man, he did some big shit back then. But there's also an interesting part where he tries to break the US as well, which is a big deal for people from the UK.
Okay.
And really struggles. And he kind of struggles with the aspect of being let down by it as well, which is kind of interesting. The whole thing's good. I liked it.
Nice.
I feel like he came away with worse mentally than David Beckham did.
That's probably true. Because something about David Beckham just
he's steely, man.
There's just a confidence, that is subdued, not super out there.
Yeah.
There's just he kind of knows who he is.
I rate that about him.
Yeah, he's I'm fucking good at football, and I like to be out there, and I like fashion, and that's who I am.
Apparently, he's got a super injunction against the fact that he just hits everything. He is just a loose unit in the States. You mean he's sleep with anyone?
Well, what do you mean a super injunction? What does that mean?
Super injunctions are effectively where the papers can't, or the tabloids can't report on any of the stuff you get up to.
How?
So I don't know how it works. I'm not pretending I'm privy to any of this, but it basically, it stops the papers from releasing anything. And Everyone. He's hooked up with everyone. Like he's just like a rat.
So they just have an open relationship. Because there is stories about him.
Well, that's it. And I think like with cheerleaders and different celebrities and stuff, I reckon he's a root rat.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I reckon he is.
How do you not? Like he's good looking.
So man, and he's so famous. Yeah. So famous.
I mean, I'm sure he is. I don't have any trouble doubting that. It's more just like, what does that mean? Does he just like pay them a certain amount a year so they just stay quiet?
I think
that wouldn't work.
I think it's through the courts, as in like they would like the papers or the tabloids would have to pay an exorbitant amount of money if they ran one of these.
But how do you get that? Because so many people would want that.
So many people have it. Apparently, it's like quite a few celebrities have super injunctions against tabloids, which is very interesting.
I hope so. Fuck the tabloids. Anyway,
another one. You got one more thing you've been up to?
Dude, I was listening to a new podcast actually.
Ooh, tell me about it.
Book Reviews Kill.
Hey, stay with this podcast first.
Yeah, well, check them out. They're not even. I don't know anything about them. They could have 0 listeners or hundreds. I just found them because I really wanted to geek out about Red Rising with something or someone, and they were one of the few podcasts that had it. Book Reviews Kill. Because Tommy like is so over me talking about Red Rising, so I had to go to the potosphere. It's been good. I've been actually all these other books that I've read in the past that again no one else had read within my friend group, like The Expanse and others. I've been just kind of nerding out and listening to their analysis on it, and it's been fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If it's this guy on Instagram I've just found, he's got 124,000 followers. So
he's doing all right.
I reckon he's probably doing pretty good.
He's doing pretty good.
That's fun, man. What I guess you listened to the Red Rising podcast from him.
I listened to that. I listened to all The Expanse.
Oh yeah. Did you read The Expanse?
I did read The Expanse. Well, I think I did audiobook for most of it.
Okay.
Which is cheating for that one because it's a big book.
Oh yeah, that tomes.
They're really big.
You love a tome.
I've stayed away from tomes lately though, to be honest. Red Rising is not a tome.
It's not. It's pretty good.
The one of the 3. But then I also listened to his Name of the Wind, their Name of the Wind one.
Okay. I did that. Literally all the books you like.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like Oprah.
It's like horror, fantasy, and sci-fi.
That's sick.
Which are like the best.
Now let me ask you this question, and this is my thing with podcasts, and like if anyone's listening to us regularly, perhaps you can let us know how you feel about this. But my thing with podcasts is if I don't really like the sound of the host's voice, I'm out like immediately. I'm gone.
It matters
a lot. Like a lot.
It matters. I used to listen to I'm maybe not as binary as you. In terms of like voice, I get you.
Yeah.
There was a podcast I used to listen to called like A Song of Ice and Fire reread. It was like a reread of Game of Thrones, and they analyzed it it's so nerdy from like a literature perspective. I forget what it's called, but that's basically what they do, and it got pretty big. And then one of the guys like left because he couldn't do it anymore, and they brought a new guy in. And this guy's
we're in the whole vibe.
This guy's voice could not stand it.
Oh wow!
And also his cadence, like I just couldn't. I can't even do it. It was too much.
Cadence is a big deal.
And it's like he was kind of stuttery and just like, and I gave him a while, I gave him much longer than you would.
Oh, really?
Sounds like. And eventually I had to stop.
That's sad. Especially when you lose a thing that you enjoyed so much.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But so I take your point. But no, I mean, these guys are kind of like exactly how they should sound. One of the guys reminds me of the dude from, did you ever see, what's it called? Silicon Valley, the show?
Bits of it.
The long-haired guy?
Yeah.
Who's kind of just always talking like,
he
reminds me of him.
All right.
Like kind of just like he's like this super nihilistic tone of voice. And he reminds me of him. The other guy's just really into the books and super genuine. So they're a good little contrast.
And then one left.
Yeah, they've done well.
Do you recommend it?
I do recommend. If you are a nerd like me and want to hear someone else talk about it.
Has he got a co-host or is it just him speaking?
No, it's 2 people.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to have to give it a go. Yeah. I'd like to hear more about people's like ideas on those types of books, because sometimes filling in some gaps from other people's perspectives gives you a different lease on the novel or whatever it is.
For sure. I mean,
I hope people get from our really terrible
and it's
reviews.
Not, yeah, for sure. I hope probably not. But I do like the fact that they're not like super in depth like critics. Like they're not like, well, this isn't literature, but they do get deep a bit, but they keep it just at the right level.
I feel like that's us.
Sometimes I try and go too deep.
But you
pull me back.
My final one then is I watched what is a cult classic in the anime field, which is Akira. So I've been talking about getting in some anime for a while. There's some bits that are coming out in cinemas that I've been kind of really keen to get into. And I wanted to go back and understand a little bit about like the origins and like some of the most influential animes out there. So Akira was from 1988, and it at the time was like groundbreaking. So every little bit of like I don't know, everything you have seen in an anime, which you might think now is a bit tropey or any of that stuff, all from this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like every little bit of it, I was like, wow, this is great. At the time, it really pushed forward like the animation style, the complex themes within it, like visual aesthetics, all that stuff. It was all incredibly intricate for the time. Whereas now I look at it and be like, oh, that's Dragon Ball Z. You know what I mean?
Foundational. Yeah. Kind of like Dune for sci-fi.
It's a foundational movie.
Yeah.
And it's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's weird. And it goes full 2001: A Space Odyssey at the end for no reason.
What, like a big baby?
Literally. I'm not even fucking you, dude. Like the ending is pretty much that. Spoilers for Akira. There is an ending and then it's just like a voiceover and you're like, I do not get this at all.
And it's like, the baby.
Yeah.
The baby.
The baby here. No, it's really good. Really fun. I really like the character arc. I was never 100% sure who the main character was until I was like halfway through the film. I was like, who the fuck am I supposed to be following here?
Yeah.
Everyone's angry all the time. So it was really interesting. And it was definitely one of those nights where the partner was out. She would not have sat through that with me. It's quite long too. It's like 2 hours. So like I was getting towards 75% of the way through and I was like, I hope she doesn't come back soon. My housemate. Sorry, my housemate.
Yeah, my friend.
My housemate doesn't come back soon.
My friend.
It was good. Really good. I'd recommend anyone who's trying to get into anime for the first time, anyone who's like,
Where'd you watch it?
It's one of the streamings, I think. No, I think it might be Amazon. I think I paid $5 for it. So it's not like I had to rent it, but at the same time, like you could probably not illegally download it pretty easily, I reckon.
Fair.
It's not far. It wouldn't be difficult. But yeah, I recommend.
Good shit.
If there's anything you guys have done or anything you've seen that you'd recommend us watching, please hit us up. We are at Podcast Assemble on Instagram. We are thepodcastassemble@gmail.com. This week, we had a friend of the show, Nish, who had just been catching up with our Nightcrawler episode, recommend that we go and watch a Netflix show called Shot in the Dark. And it's a documentary style version of that show. So like about real people who are in that world.
About Nightcrawlers?
Yeah, in that world.
Creepy.
It looks fucking crazy. So thank you very much, Nish. We really appreciate it. It's got 7.9 on IMDb. So
that's all right.
I might be checking that out at some point soon.
Add it to the watch list.
If you guys do have anything, hit us up, please. We love it when you do. We will call you out. DL, do you want to preface our main topic?
Yes, I do. I think we already did a bit. Spoilers. It's awards season.
Get the award music out.
It's awards season, and we are watching. It's going to be awesome. We are watching. What am I saying? We are awarding. We are rating.
We've got some fantastic awards. We've got some new awards. We've got some returning awards.
That really we just made up.
Oh, yeah, completely. It's all completely subjective. So,
should I kick us off?
Absolutely. But if you guys have any opinions on any of the stuff that we're about to call out, hit us up at what I just said a moment ago. The podcastassemble@gmail.com. All there. We want to know what you think.
We want to know what you think, but it'll have no effect on actual.
What we say is right.
Who gets the awards. Yeah.
But if you think different, then that's fine too.
Yeah.
DL, what's the first award?
Today we're kicking off. There's many categories. We'll go one by one. We'll switch off. Today we are kicking off with a strong award.
Strong award.
Razzie movie.
Oof, the worst of 2023.
Movie of 2023 according to us.
So go on. What are the nominees?
I'm a little bit flabbergasted by this list. Sorry for the pause.
It's a strong list.
It literally just slapped me in the face. Indiana Jones and what was it? The Crystal
Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny. I was going to say Crystal Skull.
That one's bad too.
Yep. The Flash. Ant-Man and the Wasp. John Wick 4. Some would say shouldn't be here. Tommy disagrees.
Well,
The Little Mermaid.
Well.
So
the way we're going to do this is we're going to talk it out and we're going to come to, for most of them, a conclusive decision effectively on which we think wins that award.
We'll do our best.
We'll try our hardest. What do you think, man? What's your
worst? It's got to be between Ant-Man and the Wasp and The Little Mermaid.
Oh man, The Flash is bad though. Do you remember some of that CGI?
But I actually didn't mind it overall.
Oh wow! Don't say that. That's the problem with Hollywood.
No, I didn't mind it overall. Like I didn't mind the character journey he went on. Like there was a journey there.
Okay,
and he actually, as much shit as he's gotten, was like an interesting main character. I think.
Okay,
I think he was.
So
like,
not the Flash.
He brought not the Flash for me. I mean, what do you think?
Well, let me bring to the forefront my reasoning for having John Wick 4 in here.
Yes, you need to justify that.
So my justification is that this movie, it's not even a John Wick movie anymore. He's literally the Terminator in this film. He's changed from being like the Baba Yaga to being like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's maddening. And there's this one scene where he falls down some stairs and like it's almost a joke. He falls down these stairs for so long. I was in the cinema. I was like, I might need to go to the bathroom. Like this is just going on forever. And then he gets to the top and he falls back down the stairs. It's painful. It's really painful. Like I think some people really like this. It's got some good elements. I can't say it doesn't. There's like a bit where it turns into like a video game style shooting part, which is fun. It's not the worst movie of the year, but it's definitely a nominee.
Okay. Tommy's got his nominee.
Do you think it's between Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Little Mermaid?
It has to be between Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Give me why the Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid, I've ranted about this so many times.
Yeah, you have. It's great.
But there's the fact that Poseidon is a straight hoe.
Yeah, he be like a hoe.
Based off all the ethnicities of his daughters because it doesn't add up. B, the main dude just like sucks. He sucks. He's so bad.
Went full cholo then for a second.
He's so bad. And also they added like 2 songs that are just dreadful.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, like why not just keep the ones you had? It's famous for a reason.
Well, I guess the question for you then is, DL, is that better or worse than Ant-Man?
I gotta be honest. Paul Rudd, he beats it just by
being Paul Rudd. Do you think the worst movie of the year is The Little Mermaid?
I do think so.
I can't say I've seen The Little Mermaid, so we'll go with your deal with this.
Okay.
I think Paul Rudd is a great actor, but that movie is so bad.
It is pretty bad.
Wall to wall.
It is pretty bad.
He only just.
But it's like bad in a funny way because Kane the Conqueror just gets destroyed by ants. So it's like, and Michael Douglas is out there just fiddling his ants. All like, there's just like, I enjoyed it more. Whereas the Little Mermaid was just all bad.
So
all
the
around
worst
bad.
Movie of the Year award goes to The Little Mermaid.
Animated version. Or sorry, live action.
The live action. These are all 2023, by the way. Maybe we should have prefaced that.
Of course.
So our second award this year is one that I'm actually quite excited about. I like the idea of this award, which is the most underappreciated movie of 2023. Now, we have 4 candidates. We have The Reptile, the Netflix movie I've talked about fairly recently. We have one of my favorite movies of the year, Cocaine Bear. Thanks to friend of the show, Reegs. We have The Killer, which is also a Netflix movie. And we have, yet again, funnily enough, another Netflix movie in They Cloned Tyrone.
Ooh.
All good candidates for the most underappreciated movie
Lots
of
of Netflix candidates there.
Interesting. There's so many Netflix candidates in there. 3 of the 4. Do you have any hot takes on any of those films?
I don't, because I'm going to be real, there's a couple I haven't seen, but I would say that I think the back 3, like Cocaine Bear, The Killer, and Who Cloned Tyrone, are the leaders. Is that the name?
They Cloned Tyrone.
They Cloned Tyrone. And I've heard really good things about They Cloned Tyrone, and I've only seen the middle 2, so I'm going to have to digress to you for this one.
Ooh. I really enjoyed They Cloned Tyrone.
Yeah.
But you know my love for Cocaine Bear. So
I was going to say, what wins?
I'm a little bit...
Your love for Cocaine Bear?
Definitely Cocaine Bear. I think the winner for this category has to be Cocaine Bear. Oh, yeah. I really liked They Cloned Tyrone. It was weird. It was funny. Jamie Foxx as a pimp was hilarious.
That does sound funny.
The Killer is is such a good introspect on what you expect from that type of movie and how it juxtaposes that. Reptile is just a bit dull at times. Cocaine Bear, it's a laugh a minute. Like I had so much fun with that film. It's one of my favorite dumb movies of the year. So I'm going to call it's the most underappreciated movie of 2023.
2023. Applause. I now
it's a favorite
have the privilege of the fan favorite, the show favorite, Adam Driver performance, basically carrying a thing award.
Yeah.
Basically, what did we, how did this, remind me how we came up with this?
I can't even remember.
What movie was it?
Fuck, that's a really good question.
No, it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
And maybe it was a couple of them.
I think it was Star Wars. We were talking about Star Wars at the time.
We were talking about Star Wars, the new trilogy, not the newest one coming out, but the latest trilogy, and how basically Adam Driver had this amazing performance that really came from nowhere because he was given nothing and his character was just like an emo nerd. And he turned it into this like really gripping, emotive performance. And so really anytime somebody has kind of carried a very, very bad or mediocre movie with their stellar performance, we give them the Adam Driver carrying the movie award.
And we've got 3 contenders for this.
We do this year. We do. And I'm at a loss, to be honest. This is going to be hard.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, we're starting off with, and by his own namesake, 65.
You have to be in this.
Adam Driver carries this movie in a lot of ways.
65. We enjoyed that movie, if I remember correctly.
We did enjoy it. Then you got Mads Mikkelsen for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I liked him in that. I thought he was good. He should have died in the first 4 minutes of the film. He got hit by a sign on the top of a train. But outside of that, really hammed it up. Like, it was I enjoyed the movie itself personally, but as a long-term fan, I can see why people think it's a bit average. He had a really hammy Nazi performance.
Yeah, that's fair.
3 words I never thought I'd say.
Hammy Nazi performance. Say it 3 times fast. Hammy Nazi performance. The third, and I'm going to butcher the name unless you can help me out.
Ke Kwan.
Thank you, from Loki season 2. Honestly, super stole the show in a lot of episodes. He stole the show in a lot of episodes. The problem is this isn't a mediocre show.
Ooh, interesting.
That is the problem. You can't carry something that's already kind of carrying its own weight. You can steal the show.
Ooh, okay.
And that might be a new category we should think of.
Maybe.
Who stole the show?
We've got a lot of categories. But
yeah,
okay. So we're ruling out Ke Kwan, even though he is the best.
Yes.
Okay, so it's between Mads Mikkelsen and the awards namesake.
And the namesake, Adam
Mr. Driver himself.
Do you think that you would have watched 65 anyway because it's got dinosaurs in it?
I think the prospect of Adam Driver and dinosaurs is what sold it to me.
It's obviously better than just dinosaurs.
But if it was like, I don't know, pick another actor, Timothée Chalamet. Actually, no, I'd watch that too.
I would definitely watch that.
Yeah, shit. That's tough.
All right, how about this? This is not tough. If it was Channing Tatum in a dinosaur movie, would you watch it?
God. Yes, I would watch that.
But a drama, not a comedy. I guess my point is, I think we'd watch anything that was a dinosaur movie.
I would.
I would. So, but now that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't carry the performance.
I think he carries that movie. That's a dull fucking movie, if I remember correctly.
I mean, they just like walk around. Yeah. And the girl doesn't speak any English.
He gives her all the grenades.
There's no English. They don't speak the same language.
No, not in a single. Yeah, and they don't understand each other at any point. Look, if I'm being completely honest with you here, it's the Adam Driver Award. We have to give it to Adam Driver.
Adam Driver wins the Adam Driver Award.
He's so good in that.
Man,
we've given so little.
Yeah.
He's talking to a person who has no idea what he's saying the whole time.
They do not speak the same language. He's given 15 minutes of backstory. His race that looks like humans have no backstory. And yet somehow they're also there in 65 million years ago. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
Next category then. So we're confirming Adam Driver.
Adam Driver has won the
maintains his award. Yeah. Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay.
Maintains the belt.
This is a new one for this year, and it's one that I'm actually really excited to talk about. So this is movies we missed but wished we hadn't. So we can't see everything. We'd like to.
Yeah.
And a lot of movies come out in a year. And I've compiled a list of 5 or 6 movies that I think you, for the most part, would have liked to have seen, but we just didn't have the time to.
Yes,
so let me go through this list.
There's a few exceptions, but yes.
I mean, we'll cover those.
Yeah.
Asteroid City. My God, that was everywhere. I really wanted to see that film.
Yeah.
Looked so good.
Yeah.
Creed 3. Look, it's the 3rd fucking Creed film. Like, we get it by now, but I really like those films, so haven't seen it. Renfield, one of the movies I desperately still want to see. I think it's coming to Netflix soon. Sisu. I don't know if you've heard about this one. It's a Norwegian dude who just goes full commando on Nazis. It looks amazing.
That sounds fun.
Fast X. Napoleon. Napoleon. I'd still see that.
I would still see it, but dude, 3 hours in a theater, I don't know.
Long.
Yeah.
Talk to Me, which got really great reviews.
This I've been trying to watch.
Yeah, right.
So I'll let you carry on.
And finally, the one which we both thought was a meme, but turns out to be a real thing, which is Paint, which is the Bob Ross movie with Owen Wilson.
It's a biopic of Owen Wilson being Bob Ross. Dude.
Unbelievable.
How did we not know this movie existed?
I thought it was a meme.
I thought it was like it was like the same time when ChatGPT blew up and Dolly blew up, I thought it was just like an AI generated image.
Same.
I didn't think it was a real thing, and now that I know it's a real thing, I'm really sad.
I'm
really sad that I didn't
need to watch that. Okay, so let's go through these very quickly. I think we can scrub out Creed 3, Fast X.
Yes.
Napoleon's probably a bit too long.
I do want to watch it, but at my own pace.
Me too.
Yeah.
Sisu, I really would love to watch, but I'm not sure you have any interest in it.
I have no context, but it sounds really fun.
Okay, so we're talking Paint, Talk to Me, Renfield, and Asteroid City.
Been Asteroid City. I cannot stand this guy's films.
Really?
They're so boring.
Shit, okay.
They're just colorful. Who cares, dude? Literally, have you seen any? The only one that was halfway decent, did he do the hotel one?
Yeah.
That one was all right.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
The Grand Budapest Hotel was all right.
I like Wes Anderson, man. He's interesting.
They're friggin' boring, dude.
All right.
Anyway, and they all just look weird with weird colors anyway, so I would say no to that.
We're down to Renfield and Paint and Talk to Me.
I think it's between Paint and Talk to Me, and I don't know what to do. Because I want to watch them for very different reasons.
I'm scribbling out Paint personally because, like, I did think it was a meme. So it's either for me, it's either Renfield or Talk to Me, and the common denominator there's Talk to Me.
Let's do it. Talk to Me wins. Movies we missed but wish we had, and we got to go see it.
We have to see it now.
That means we have to do it for a pod in the next few months.
Oh God, we literally don't have time. Yes, okay, cool. Let's do that. Absolutely. What's the next topic?
This is I've been lucky with
round of applause for
round of applause.
Round of applause.
I've been lucky with my award announcements.
I've had some good ones.
I'm basically getting best picture, best screenplay, best actress, best actor at this point because I get to talk about Rebootuations.
Oof, one of the show's favorites, baby.
Coinage. This year so
do we want to remind if anyone's new here what Rebootuations are?
If I could, I would.
So a Rebootuation, for anyone who doesn't know, is basically a reboot and a continuation of a thing. So when you think of, for example, the first in this category, which is going to be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, it reboots the characters, but also is a continuation of the story.
Sometimes, though, we do reboots that are kind of just reboots, but they're still within the world, but none of the other characters are there. There's been a few of those.
Hey, look, it's a bit of a flip-floppy thing here. It's a bit of column A, bit of column B.
Yeah, you don't really ever know.
Yeah, you never know.
You know when you see it.
You know when you see it.
You know when you see it.
That's the movie.
It's like literature. You know when you read it. It's like sexy. You know when you see it.
It's literature. You know when you read it. It's on a book.
No. Literature is a highbrow term. It's a highbrow term. Anyway, we are moving on. That's like you just said. It's like words. You know when you read them.
You know when you see words.
Yes.
Okay. Give a bit of contenders.
Talkie, shutty. The nominations are Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Scream 6, Godzilla. I should say this better. Godzilla -1.
Sake.
Haunted Mansion.
And The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid. We know where we stand there.
A few things that have cropped up a couple of times.
I think for me, I wanted to see Haunted Mansion. I didn't actually see it. What are they going to make scary about Danny DeVito? Scarier. He's already quite scary. So I think that one's out. I think Little Mermaid's out.
We have to rule out Little Mermaid because that's our worst of the year.
I think that there's 3 here, and I'm going to pass to you and see what you think.
So Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, Scream 6, Godzilla -1. I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't actually seen Scream 6. So for me, it's Indiana Jones or Godzilla. Godzilla, man, that was such a fucking good movie.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it last week. If you listened last week, you know what we think. I'm voting for Godzilla.
Let's do it. Godzilla is our best rebootuation of the year.
Godzilla +2. Let's go.
-12.
Applause.
Godzilla had a +1 to this wedding, but ended up coming away with a -1.
Yeah. Well done.
He's not allowed anymore.
Well done, Godzilla.
Well done. Oh, round of applause for Godzilla. The next category is one of my favorite categories within this. And we actually have an Editor's Choice Award for this. So let's see if we agree with Mr. Matthew Bliss of Blissery.fm. I think it still is.
That is the one.
Best TV show of 2023. Now, this can be a follow-on season. It can be a brand new thing. It doesn't have to be a brand new thing. So we have a few contenders here. First and foremost, starting strong, The Last of Us.
Yeah.
We've talked about that in the podcast. We've also talked about Andor in a podcast. We have Gen V, which I talked about a couple of weeks ago. We have the, I don't know what even this is.
The Squid Games reality show.
The reality show.
Yeah, which is a great idea by Netflix.
Really, really great reviews. We have The Bear, which we've waxed lyrical about a number of times. Rick and Morty is coming out at the moment. It's really fantastic. Succession, which has been heralded as one of the greatest TV shows of all time. And finally, one of my favorite TV shows, Ted Lasso.
Yeah, this is a tough list.
Let's cut this down a little bit. I think we can get rid of Gen V.
We can get rid of Gen V. We can get rid of Squid Games, I'd say.
Yeah, okay. I liked Gen V a lot, but I don't think it's in the category.
It's not even close.
The best.
Yeah.
Squid Game, I'm not 100% open. I didn't love it.
I've enjoyed it, but again, not even close. Rick and Morty was great, not the best Rick and Morty season even. So how are we going to say it's the best season?
Solid point.
Yeah.
I do like this season. I'm not going to lie.
No, it's good, but I don't think it's the best.
I think we can get rid of Ted Lasso, I would say, even though I love that show. I don't know if it's quite on par with.
I don't think this season was, at least. No.
Sure.
So we're down to 4.
We've got The Bear. We've got Succession. We've got Andor and The Last of Us.
Fuck, man, so hard. I think it's...
I'm going to cut out the bear because I think if you're not in the mood... I've done this a number of times. I've gone to put the bear on and been like, I'm just not in the mood for this.
For the angst?
Yeah, it's too intense, man.
Okay.
There's a lot happening. So we've got Succession, Andor, and The Last of Us. I'm going to pass to you.
It's got to be between The Last of Us and Andor because I love a dystopia. I love some sci-fi.
Me too.
And frankly, dude, I don't think I can choose this one. I think if it's like almost in any mind, I'm talking through it. The Last of Us is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say Andor because
how about this before you choose? You get a vote, I get a vote, and Matt gets a vote.
There we go. All right. So my vote is, as I just kind of ruined, Andor because there's no source material.
Yeah, right.
And it's one of the hardest things to adapt and please everyone. Right? Because you have all the Star Wars history.
True.
You're operating in an environment that is that likes to meddle, as we know about Star Wars, and still you produce what is probably one of my favorite seasons of television, like ever. It's up there.
It's the best Star Wars since Star Wars.
It's yes, for sure. And it's up there like as an isolated season of television is one of the best. I gotta vote Andor for that reason.
Okay, so you voted Andor.
Yeah.
Now I know what Matt's vote is, but I'll give you mine first. So my vote is going to be The Last of Us.
Oof.
So the reason I go with The Last of Us is because it's the opposite of what you did. The reason I go with The Last of Us is because it is so hard to recreate the magic of a video game in any way, shape, or form. It's been done to death so many times, like the curse of video games, how badly something's been. Fucking remember Tomb Raider in the 2000s?
Yeah.
It's really hard. And this has been such a beloved video game. Everyone hated the fact Bella Ramsey was cast. You know, it was really difficult to do, and they got it so perfectly right. Every step of the way, right down to like the last episode, even if it was a little bit rushed. So I'm saying The Last of Us. So it's down to the final one, which is the editor of the show, Mr. Matthew Bliss. Matthew Bliss, do you want to give your own?
Yeah.
And tell us what the winner is?
Sub it in now.
Thanks, guys. My vote is for The Last of Us. As Tommy said, it was a brilliant season. Really hard to do a video game adaptation that works in television. But also, the emotions, the feeling, and the anticipation for the second season coming up, and the third as well, especially if you played The Last of Us Part 2, is going to be immense. Plus, you can't walk past a bit of good Pedro Pascal. So, you've got your winner.
So the winner is The Last of Us! Woo!
Can't hate the player.
Can't hate the player.
Game. The Last of Us is a great
best
show.
TV show of 2023, The Last of Us. Beautiful. DL. Is it your category? I can't remember.
It is my category. And let me tell you, we get to talk about the best and the worst of the MCU. And fuck it,
well, what we're going to do is, we'll just give you all of the things and we can say which is the best and which is the worst.
We'll do this one in one go.
Yeah, we're not going through this.
What is the worst?
You go through all these things on here.
Secret Invasion. This is show and movies. Loki. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania. Oof. Again, we know how that one goes. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The Marvels. What are we going to pick for the worst MCU movie show content?
So you want to go worst first?
Of the year, yes.
Absolutely. You know what? I've talked about the Marvels. I think the Marvels is better than everybody said it was. I think it got a bad backlash, mainly because the internet for some reason hates Brie Larson. For me, it's between Secret Invasion and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It has to be between Secret Invasion and Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I haven't seen Secret Invasion because I didn't want to watch it that badly. So whether that counts for a vote or not, I don't know.
I would probably say it's Ant-Man and the Wasp regardless.
Ant-Man and the Wasp gets it again.
That was probably my Razzie of the year, so it's got to get something.
It's a double award.
It's got to get something here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Ant-Man and the Wasp. You're right. It was Mermaid. Sorry.
It was Little Mermaid. Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp wins worst of the MCU. Now, what do you think about the best there? There's a couple of good ones.
I think the best is probably, we can narrow it down to Loki and Guardians of the Galaxy. And kind of a toss-up. I personally liked Loki more, but not because Guardians was bad, just because, I don't know, I liked the journey that Loki went on a lot.
Okay.
I thought it was really well executed. Yeah.
I'm going to speak up for Guardians. I think it had an unbelievable soundtrack, yes, again. James Gunn had an absolute masterclass. The story of pivoting from, the love story that had been between Gamora and Quill the whole time to what was effectively like a raccoon, literally.
The raccoon
and
story.
Making you care about a raccoon. What a fucking twist of genius by that man. Like,
who doesn't love raccoons?
What a legend. Love him. Love him. Big panda eyes. I would personally go with Guardians of the Galaxy. However, you've made a very strong case for Loki. So shall we say the best of the MCU for the year. Loki?
I think we could just give it a best TV show and a best movie and call it a day. They both win easy.
Woo, good for you guys. You got it. Woo. Okay, let's move on to our next category, which is a piece of media you wish could remove from your life, released in 2023. Now, we've only got three nominations for this, and we've talked to pretty much all of them, so we'll spin through this. We have The Marvels, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and we have The Flash. If you could just burn something out of your mind, which of those three would it be, DL?
You know, Ant-Man and the Wasp just won. I'm going to say The Marvels.
Wow,
yeah,
really?
Mainly because it's just like, I want to burn it out of my mind because it could have been good. No, and it wasn't.
I'm going The Flash. The Flash for me was just wall-to-wall bad. The CGI was bad. The acting was bad. Michael Keaton was done real dirty in that film. Sasha Calle, who's great, was given nothing. She's been cancelled from the universe already. It's just okay. It's just like you're giving us like an after credit scene for a universe that's dead. It's like, why are you doing this? What's the point?
That's like par for the course for DC. But I will grant you this one. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well done, The Flash. Well done. Woo. Okay. DL. This, by the way, this was my favorite award.
This is a great award. This is a great award. And actually, it's going to be hard.
It could be any of the movies we've talked about.
It could be hard.
Which is great.
This award is a newly crafted one. Movie that does not...
This is for people who've listened to our podcast.
If you've been listening
regularly.
the last couple of weeks, and if you haven't, go listen to our episode on The Happening.
Oh, please. That's one of my all-time favorite episodes.
This will be it's a really fun episode, and it'll be a good preface before this award. Movie that does not have enough Mark Wahlberg Award.
Yes.
Now, we have many contestants here. Indiana Jones.
All of them.
John Wick 4. The Little Mermaid. Mission Impossible. The Marvels. Air, Super Mario, Barbie, Oppenheimer.
So, let me preface how I had this in my brain when I wrote this down.
Yeah.
My thought process for this is, which one of these movies would be better for having the happening version of Mark Wahlberg? All of them, obviously, but which would make it be the better movie for having him in it? I
can literally narrow it down to 3 instantly.
Perfect. Go.
Yes. The Little Mermaid, Super Mario, and Barbie.
Oh, wow. You think Barbie would be better?
I think if the fact that we didn't get a Mark Wahlberg Ken is a fucking travesty.
An older Ken?
A travesty.
That'd be great.
Ken's uncle? I don't know. Something. What do you think? Yeah.
I like those. I like those a lot. I was going to call out John Wick 4 because could you imagine just like Mark Wahlberg wandering around while John Wick just like murders everyone? He's like talking to plants in the background. Hey man, don't hurt us. I'm really sorry. Oh no, wait, you're made of plastic. Like just in the background while he's just murdering people.
I just think he'd do a really good Super Mario voice, man.
Oh, that would be
I think he'd like as a character in Super Mario, he'd kill.
Which of those 3 then that you said do you think does not have enough Mark Wahlberg?
I think the Barbie, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense for him to be in there.
He could have been, what was... In
fact, I'm surprised he wasn't.
He could have been the Alan. Could you imagine how good Mark Wahlberg would have been as Alan just walking around? Oh my God, guys.
Or like
Donnie.
Or like another version of Alan.
That would have been...
That would juxtapose...
Great.
What's his name?
Great. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great award. I'm glad we've kept that.
We love that. That one's carrying on. And Barbie, you are the winner. Applause.
We still have a few to go, guys.
Yeah,
so
we still have quite a few to go.
Let's keep going then. So, movie that desperately wanted a sequel but won't get one. So we've only got 2 for this category, and it's actually 2 that we both really liked. We've talked about on the podcast. Please go and check them out. Dungeons and Dragons, one of my actual favorite movies of the year, and The Creator. Neither of these, I think either of these getting
I was going to say, I actually would counter you and say, you don't think Dungeons and Dragons will get a sequel?
It didn't make a lot of money at the box office.
It didn't?
It did really badly at the box office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really badly. Bummer. It didn't make its money back. So unless, there's some goodwill or a big fan campaign, I highly unlikely at this point.
It doesn't need to be that expensive to make
I don't think so either.
That's a bummer. But
it's a real bummer.
In that case, I would have to say, for me, it is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, me too. I loved that movie. The comedy in it, the acting was fantastic. Just some real big daddy energy in that film.
There's just some real dry humor. Loved it.
Brilliant. Next one, DL. Hit me.
Best CGI, 65. Oof. Across the Spider-Verse, The Creator, Godzilla -1.
Now, the reason I like this award is because they are all so fucking different.
Very true.
So 65, obviously great dinosaurs. Across the Spider-Verse, revolutionary in terms of its use of different styles of animation.
Yep.
The Creator made on, as with Godzilla -1, made on shoestring, but amazing CGI. DL, what do you reckon?
I think for me, The Creator or Across the Spider-Verse are the top two. Yeah. Would you agree?
You don't love Across the Spider-Verse, baby.
Yeah.
But The Creator was pretty epic.
I mean, The Creator is like only a good movie because of the CGI and design.
All right. Do you want to go with The Creator?
Right. I would say
it's only a good movie. The rest of it's
really not worth it other than that.
Brilliant.
Across the Spider-Verse is like awesome, but it's awesome all around. So I think that like, and is it really CGI? A lot of it's art, literally hand-drawn, I'd imagine.
Some of it is.
Yeah, I would say we got to go The Creator here.
Beautiful.
To be honest.
The Creator. So next up is one of my favorite awards, which is the best video game of 2023. We had some unreal games this year. So we had God of War, Ragnarok. We had Spider-Man 2. We had Hogwarts Legacy. We had Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. And thanks to friend of the show, Ollie, who recommended we included Resident Evil 4. Now, I know you love Resident Evil 4.
Of course it was going to be there.
It had to be there. I'd forgotten about it completely. Which of those, DL, is your game? I think we're going to do one each for this because we've played very different games this year.
I would say Resident Evil 4.
Yes, I knew you'd say that.
It was a close one between that and Zelda, but I've barely even scratched the surface of that game, so can't really talk
So I've played God of War, Spider-Man 2, Hogwarts, Zelda, pretty much to 100%. Maybe not obviously Zelda because there's so much to do in that, but like the other ones definitely. I'm still going to say Zelda.
Wow.
I fucking loved that game.
Wow.
Spider-Man, probably a very close second. Actually, no, God of War was great too. They're all good. Zelda is it's just so different.
Yeah.
And the formula that they'd shaken up so brilliantly with Breath of the Wild, even wilder. Loved it. And thank you, friend of the show, Ollie. We really appreciate that recommendation.
We do. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you that win because if my partner likes a game that you like, they've done something right.
Yeah, nice.
They've done something
right. Nice. Okay, so quick question then for this one.
Yep.
Quick point for this one. This isn't a nominations list. This is us just calling out that we did some dumb stuff.
Yep, this is true. this next award, we got to own. We got the receipts. It's recorded. So we audited the receipts and worst podcast assemble prediction of 2022.
Woo! Go us, baby.
Which was for Tommy.
Well, I'll tell you. You tell me yours and tell me why it's the worst, and I'll tell you mine why it was the worst.
Okay, mine, which was like a prediction for 3 years running or something.
Oh my God, it was going for so long.
Because this movie never came out, was that Killers of the Flower Moon was just going to be like
the best thing of all time.
Like literally like the best thing since sliced bread. Like imagine Leonardo DiCaprio, imagine Martin Scorsese, imagine a murder mystery.
What a fantastic sounding film deal.
Imagine Robert De Niro. Imagine a Western. I just could not get enough. And I'm not going to lie, this thing made me depressed for a month.
Like 3 weeks.
Like a proper month, bro.
I think I'm still coming out of the depression.
Literally, I'm lacking serotonin because of this movie.
Brilliant.
And it wasn't a bad movie.
No, technically brilliant.
It wasn't a great movie. It was just
was a movie.
It was a movie with a story that it told, and
it had a point.
Wasn't what I wanted.
It wasn't
what I wanted.
It wasn't the best movie of 2023 that you thought it was going to be.
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't what I predicted. And
the worst prediction from my end was, of course, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, we've talked about this a little bit already, but to put this in context, all I'm going to say is the bit where Darren goes, "I'm not a dick." It's like, MODOK, man. Yeah, fuck off.
All right, dude.
What an awful film. Terrible all around. And I thought, I had such high hopes of that film. Conqueror.
I honestly did not hate this movie as much as you, but I agree. It definitely wasn't it wasn't one of the best of the MCU. So
we have to call out our own misfortunes,
and this is us doing it.
Do it. Yes. So the next award then is one of your favorites, actually, and it's the best show cancelled by Netflix in 2023.
Yes.
Cancelled's a loose term for this one. There's a couple that have just kind of ended, but we've thrown a bunch in there. So this is a strong list. Inside Job, the animated show. I really like that. You, which has got huge reviews ever since COVID. Big Mouth, Sex Education, and your favorite, Shadow and Bone.
Yes. And I've got to be honest, I don't think you and Sex Education should count because I'm pretty sure they ended on their own accord.
Yeah, but it's a loose category. Let's go with
it. I think that
it was a small category.
I really think that we should keep this quite honest.
Inside Job, Big Mouth, Shadow and Bone.
Inside Job, Big Mouth, Shadow and Bone. And I am not a big fan, or I've watched a few episodes of Big Mouth. I know it's funny. I never really full fan girled it, but I've heard that it's good. So I would say it's probably that one.
The first 2 seasons for me were really good.
Yeah.
And then it just like, I don't know what happened. It tanked.
Have you really anything to say about Inside Job?
I really enjoyed Inside Job. I watched the first season. I thought it had a really interesting perspective to it. Like it was making fun of things that often don't get made fun of, but I would happily go with your recommendation on this.
My recommendation is going to be, even though I know I wouldn't like the 3rd season, but I still want to see this girl's yellow teeth. This.
Oh, it makes you feel sick.
I want to see Ben Barnes in the. Well, actually, we know how it ends for him, but I want to see the culmination of.
Wait, how did it end for Ben Barnes? Did he die?
He dies. I want to see this very, very mediocre fantasy story go to an end.
Wait, roll back. How did he die?
I forget. Somebody killed him. It was the ending was so bad, but I wanted to see like how they tied it all together to see if maybe there was any redeeming qualities. So I'm going to vote for Shadow and Bone.
We will go with Shadow and Bone being the best show canceled.
Probably deserves the canceled show, but
that hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Quickly then, moving on.
One of the best.
One of the newest and funnest awards of the year, which is Biggest Kenergy, baby.
Yes.
So that's Fun Daddy Energy, I've called it, which I'm not sure is exactly accurate, but it's easy because this year we had literally the Barbie movie. So Ryan Gosling as Ken, but we also have Simu Liu as Ken, who had fantastic Kenergy. We also have for this Chris Pine from Dungeons & Dragons. He had such a sick Kenergy to him. We couldn't say it at the time because we didn't know what it was, but now I'm like, there's a big Kenergy to that guy in that film.
There is.
Big
He was ahead of
Kenergy.
his time.
And finally, we
as
have
a Ken.
Ben Affleck from Air. This is a wild one. My partner recommended this on the way in, and he just is like, he's got this wild ginger wig on. His chest's out the whole time. He's always got like 80s like short shorts on.
It plays.
Big Kenergy.
Sublime.
Big Kenergy. DL, which is your favorite for the biggest Kenergy?
You can't even argue that Ryan Gosling wins this. It'll be a good award to bring back next year
and see what wins.
But it's Absolutely. I mean the man is
great.
The man is
great
Ken.
In that film.
Yeah.
Go on, man. What's the next category?
Best
only
movie.
2 left, baby.
Best movie, 2 left. Get ready. We have
give us a little drum roll, please.
Super Mario.
Wow.
Spider-Man Across the Universe.
Wait, is that what
Spider-Verse?
It's called?
Spider-Verse is what I meant. Barbie.
Oof.
Another worthy candidate. Oppenheimer. The Oppenheimer.
Jaime, baby.
Guardians Volume 3.
Whoa.
Godzilla -1.
It's not a strong year for great movies.
I mean, these are.
We've got a really strong final award. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
These are there are good movies here. They're great movies here.
So you've ruled out Super Mario.
I do think so.
You
yes.
added Super Mario. Interestingly, I clearly didn't do a good enough job on this list for you. You added Guardians and Godzilla. So they're out. So it's down to 3 choices.
It is.
Which are Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse, Barbie, and Oppenheimer.
Yes. And for a podcast that has prided itself on being comic book centric.
Not so much anymore.
Not comic book centric, but that's where our roots are.
Geekiness, innit?
Yeah.
Geekiness, innit?
Spider-Man, I think, can be included for me. But I think if I'm cutting Opie or Barbie, I'm cutting Opie.
Now, if you remember, if that's what you're saying here, when we did the Barbie versus Oppenheimer at the end of watching those 2 movies, we decided that Barbie was the better movie.
I think we did. Yeah.
So we might have to go with Barbie then.
I think Barbie is the best movie of 2023.
Round of applause for Barbie, guys. Give it this is just beautiful.
And now,
Barbie is the best movie of 2022. I'm really interested by that choice of Barbie being the best movie of 2023 because I think when this year was rocking around, I'm pretty sure that you were like, I was like, oh God, what the fuck is this about? And you were like, nah, Greta Gerwig, bloody Ryan Gosling, that cast. You were like, this is going to be something.
I just figured that they wouldn't have signed on if it wasn't some kind of satirical thing. And
agreed.
It did become a very satirical thing, but it was also a statement about society that I didn't think it was on both sides,
absolutely
femininity and masculinity, equally. That it was super impressive. So
it was so good.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Yeah. All right, but DL, are you ready for the biggest award. Bigger than the Oscars, bigger than the Razzies.
Yes, nothing better to juxtapose.
Nothing is bigger than the Most Aquaman movie, the Most Aquaman 2018 movie of 2023 award. And we have some doozies in this category this year. Are you ready for these? All right, let me tell you who we've got. We've got Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, one of the most average Mission Impossibles. It's about a killer AI. Guess what? We've got Killers of the Flower Moon, which goes on for about 45 years.
And many screaming dead ladies.
Many screaming dead ladies. We have The Marvels, which is fun.
Fucking average.
But an average movie. Yeah. We have Shazam 2, which was so average, you forgot it came out this year. We have Air, which I'm throwing in there. I know it got some good reviews, but fuck me, that's a boring film.
That's a controversial call.
We have Extraction 2, another one so boring that we forgot it came out this year. And we have preemptive entry for this award because it's not actually out yet, but we think it's going to be a contender when it does come out, which is, ironically, Aquaman 2. So DL, I'd love to get your opinion on which of these you think. And for anyone who doesn't know, Aquaman 2018 is our rating system. We say, is this movie better or worse than the most average movie we know? The internet's binary. That's how we roll. Which of these gets the Aquaman 2018 award for 2023, DL?
I got to be honest. For me, Aquaman has to be included, even though we haven't seen it.
Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2. Shazam as well has to be included.
Because you didn't even remember it happened.
Because I didn't even know that it was a movie. And The Marvels has to be included because it's nothing but average.
It is fairly average.
And this is pretty equal playing field here because these are all sequels. These are all superhero movies, and they're all unbelievably average.
Killers of the Flower Moon. And
no, I meant my final three.
Okay, sorry. So final three again.
Yeah, my final three were Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, and The Marvels, and it's equal playing field because they're all sequels that are
So we're cutting out Killers of the Flower Moon.
If you want to challenge me, I wouldn't oppose you. If you want to veto that, tell me which one you want to sub it in for.
I'm going to go with your choices here because as much as you know, Aquaman as Killers of the Flower Moon was, it was just really like beautifully shot. It had a lot of technical deliciousness to it. Fantastic film.
There was some good acting. I don't think there's anything average about this film. I think it's like really, really one way, which is which is just like super depressing. There's nothing. It's not like an average film. Like you can't go through something average and feel that way.
All right.
Yeah.
So Aquaman 2 we haven't seen yet. I think it's going to be worse than Aquaman 2018, which means it's immediately out of this.
You think it's going to be
significantly worse.
Yeah, it could be.
I just don't. I think it's got nothing. I think it's like, you ain't got nothing, lad.
That's actually a pretty good call.
I think it's going to be so much worse. So it is between The Marvels and Shazam 2. So what I'm going to do, DL, is we're going to do rock, paper, scissors for this because they're both pretty average movies.
Well,
which do you want?
What is it? What would you call an average score?
That's a really good question.
Like out of
IMDb?
10. Yeah.
I think the most average has got to be 6, right?
Okay, so which one's closest to 6?
Should we find that out?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
Go on.
It is literally a 6.0 on the dot.
It's a what?
It's a 6 on the dot.
Oh my God. The Marvels is 5.9.
Oh my God, dude. This is a battle of titans.
This is the most average movie recommendation. Okay, you're just gonna go for it. I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. You gotta say the first thing that comes to mind. Would you prefer pasta or pizza?
Pasta.
Skiing or sun?
Sun.
Marvels or Shazam? Shazam 2 is the most Aquaman 2018 movie of 2023. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking with it. We do really appreciate it. We will probably have one final episode of the year. We'll do a little festive movie or something for you guys just to wrap up before I fly off to the UK for 3 weeks. But DL, do you want to wrap up the show? What do we want to hear from these guys?
We would love to hear from you. Hit us up at the podcast assemble at gmail.com or podcast assemble on Instagram.
Tell us what your favorite movie for 2023 was.
Yeah, tell us.
Who had the biggest Kenergy in your opinion?
And debate us on our awards.
Oh, please.
Yeah, please do.
Or give us new reward categories.
Yeah, if you've got ideas. I
fucking love this. This is one of my favorite episodes.
It is. It's always great. And soon it'll just be a bunch of nonsense awards. Like Like, what movie had the best hair of Leo?
This podcast is getting so like in jokey. It's going to become impenetrable by the time we're like 3 years in.
For sure.
And we are 3 years in.
If you would like to give us a review, give us 5 stars. That'd be awesome. We really appreciate it.
Please do, guys. We love it when you do.
Until then, a really big thank you to Matthew Bliss for editing and mastering this week's episode. I think you may have even heard from him this week if we're lucky.
He was in there.
He might have even done something where you got a little vocal action. If you'd like to hire someone to edit your podcast, head to MatthewBliss.net and book a consultation today. If you want to hear his work, listen to From My Home to Yours, an expat and repat podcast where Matt and his wife share their experiences and advice for others moving country. Moving lad.
He was also on Podcasting for Humans too, if you want to hear more of his work. He is around the podcasting sphere. He's got some stuff in the works right now. Watch out for more Matthew Bliss.
Love that, man. And until next time, Tommy, laters gators.
Awards round of applause.
Awards round of applause. Thanks
Tally-ho, baby.
Tally-ho.
Tally-ho, baby.